So I went hard in the paint this week. I bought a lot of comics from the local comic shop. I bought a lot. If you want to see what I picked up this week, stay tuned for the video. Regie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. As I was thinking about that intro, I bought a lot of books. I have a lot of books here, but some of them, a couple of them could be from last week. I honestly can't remember, but I bought a lot of books. Let's just put it that way. Between this week and last week, there's a lot of books. And I'm going to show you guys these books right now. Not all of them are actually new books, to be honest with you. And they certainly didn't all come from one comic shop. This is one that I bought that I still have not read, but someone out there in the community recommended that I read it. I saw it at the shop today, so I went ahead and picked it up. It Eats What Feeds It. And this is actually the very first, it's the first book that I bought from a local comic shop from Scout. I bought other books from Scout, technically one book, multiple copies. But this is it. It Eats What Feeds It from Scout, issue number 1. Saw it at the shop and went ahead and snagged it. Bitterroot issue number 10. I am reading this series. I am enjoying this series. And I have something really cool that I'll be showing you guys very soon from this series as well. Next up is Immortal Hulk issue number 0. This is a super thick comic. It was an okay read. I've been not necessarily reading Immortal Hulk as consistently as I need to. I'll wait like a month or a couple of months and then read a bunch of them all at the same time, and I'll have these starts and these stops, and I don't think that that's the best way to read a comic. But this is issue number 0. I picked it up, I read it. Wasn't bad. Bleed Them Dry is one that I thought was going to be a really good series, but I did not necessarily enjoy issue number 3 as much as I did issue number 1 and kind of sort of issue number 2. Maybe we're in a little bit of a lull, but hopefully we'll dig ourselves out of it. But Bleed Them Dry from, who is this from? From Vault Comics. This is the only title I've ever seen from Vault, and the only one certainly that I've bought. But I'm hoping that the series actually gets a little bit better. This is one that I did pick up last week, a previous copy. This is one from a different shop that I actually picked up this week. So this is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 48. We have some more Immortal Hulk issue number 37. This is reminiscent of one of those earlier Dr. Fry covers that came out. Really cool cover right there. I think all of these are done by Alex Ross. Just gorgeous artwork. And had to get that. Had to get that. I was lucky enough to get this one in the shop. It was the only copy that was left. I was very surprised that it was still there, but a really, really cool copy of this comic. And here's another by the very talented Alex Ross. Little Silver Surfer action right there. Really cool book. Pleased again that I was able to find this one. And thankfully, my comic shop for this one had a couple of copies. The ones that were on the shelf were basically all damaged, and they had one behind the counter that was undamaged that I was able to score. So a really nice copy of that book. Here is Fantastic Four. This is issue number 1 of the series that Neil Adams is doing. I want to say that I've read this, but I may have read it digitally, and I don't think that I actually picked up a hard copy. So I went ahead and picked this one up, and this one's been on the shelf for a while, but again, pleased that I picked it up. Speaking of something that has been out there for a while, picked up another copy of Amazing Spider-Man 110. What's crazy is I walked into the comic shop. In one of the shops, there were a small stack of Amazing Spider-Man sitting on the counter. And it was like, hey, what do you have? I think it was like the kangaroo was right on top. Slid that off to the side. Amazing Spider-Man. This had just come in. I basically told him, Go ahead and grade it, price it, stick it in my box. Doesn't matter what the price is, that's my book. And the guys know they know that if it's 110, I'm taking it. So I went ahead and snagged another copy. I try to, buy them offline versus being online so as not to influence. And I like to find them in the wild, and it's not often that I do. So I'm very pleased to have found that one. Here is Fantastic Four issue number 3. This is Fantastic Four X-Men issue number 3. I think this has been out for a while, but I don't think that I picked it up when it was out originally, so I went ahead and snagged a copy of that. And if I have a copy of it, so be it. X of Swords, 10 of Swords, technically is what it's called. 10 of Swords. It's dense. I am partway through it. I have mixed emotions. We're going to keep it moving. I did snag this one though. This is a second print of this one right here. I saw it and I was like, you know what? I didn't get the first print. I didn't go for that. But I saw this one and went ahead and snagged Spawn issue number 309 featuring the Gunslinger Spawn. So I have his original appearance, but I did not get the first print of 309, but I saw the second and I went ahead and just grabbed it. Venom number 28, really awesome series right here. Picked up the variant cover of that one as well. Here is Thor number 2, and I think that this is the 5th printing, which is a little bit of a rare thing, but I thought it was a really cool cover. Black cover, nice little, rectangular shapes here. So I thought that was a cool one. So I went ahead and snagged that. Thor number 6 right here. Thanos is back, and he is awesome. So I have not read this one. I am looking forward to reading it for certain. I have a lot. I told you I had a lot of books. Juggernaut, issue number 1. I've read this. This one is not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. But what makes it, I think, a good read is that we actually have an opportunity in this issue to better understand to some degree or another the motivations of Cain Marko. He's not a hero, even though he does some heroic things. We learn a little bit about how he escaped limbo and some other stuff. It is not a terrible read, and this is actually something that I've talked about on the Ready, Set, Go preview show. One, I was excited about reading it. I read it. It did not let me down, and I'm excited to read the rest of the issues. But this is I think a 5-part, essentially mini series, if you will, where each one of the issues is basically a one-shot. Now, there are going to be some threads that are going to run through all of them, but each one of them by Fabian is essentially almost like a standalone story. So a little bit different, but really a throwback to the heyday when back in the day an entire arc was a single story. So I kind of dig that part of it. So looking forward to reading issues 2 through 5 of the Juggernaut. But to that point, went ahead and picked up the tribute to Chadwick. They actually have this nice little banner up here. Awesome cover. So I went ahead and snagged 2 copies of that. Next up, I want to give a shout out to Chaotic Kindness. Chaotic Kindness actually put me up on this next character many months ago. He actually gave me a couple of AOKs. I read them and was intrigued by the character. And so one of the things that has prevented me from picking up these books is that you have to do Kickstarter. And I don't want to do Kickstarter. I want to go to the comic shop. I want to pick my books up there. And that's how I want to do it. But here's the thing. I was in the shop today and lo and behold, there was a stack of these books sitting there and I stacked them. And so I picked up White Widow. I've read this again and it is a good read. So I actually picked up 2 copies of White Widow issue number 1 from Absolute Comics. I snagged issue number 2 right there. And then I picked up issue number 3. So again, I don't think that I've read issue number 3, but 1 and 2 I have read. And maybe I'll just go ahead and do the Kickstarter, or maybe I'll just make sure my comic shop orders these for me in advance so I can check them out. But there you go. That is essentially my my massive haul. I don't even know how many books that was, but it was a lot. There were a lot of books there. But I certainly want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, I want to encourage you to hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment behind so we can mix it up in the comment section. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.